This is the BBC.
This podcast is supported by advertising outside the UK.
Hello, I'm Rithala Shah. Thank you for downloading the World Tonight podcast on Monday the 6th of February. On the programme, we focus on the devastating earthquake that's hit southern Turkey and the northwest of Syria. The death toll stands at more than 3,000 and is expected to rise. As efforts to free trapped survivors continue through the night, we'll hear testimony from aid workers and a doctor. This part of Turkey is also home to large numbers of Syrian refugees who fled from a war which hasn't ended. We'll find out why Syria's international isolation may make it even harder to help those in desperate need. Also, we find out why the Premier League has accused Manchester City of more than 100 breaches of its financial rules, something the club denies. And the Prime Minister's set to announce a cabinet reshuffle. We'll have the latest. Mountains of crushed concrete sprawl on icy streets. Shocked survivors talk of an apocalypse and describe being shaken like a cradle. Today's earthquakes spread across a swathe of southern Turkey and northwest Syria. The first quake of 7.8 magnitude struck in the early hours of the morning while people were asleep. Its epicentre was close to the Turkish city of Gaziantep. There was a second quake of 7.5 magnitude at around 1:30 in the southeastern Turkish city of Malatya. A TV crew were reporting live when it hit.
Güvenli alana geçiyoruz bizler şu anda. Vatandaşları da görüyorsunuz. Deprem oluyor gene.
As they ran for their lives, a building just behind them collapsed in a choking cloud of dust. The death toll currently stands at around 3,000. Rescuers are working through the night to try to save those trapped amid the rubble. Millions of people across Turkey, Syria, Lebanon, Cyprus and Israel felt the earthquake. But Gaziantep in southern Turkey was close to its epicentre. Around 2 million people live in the city, including a large number of Syrian refugees. Gaziantep's also known for its Roman castle. Photographs show that its ancient stone walls have crumbled. Muzaffer Baca is Vice President of the International Blue Crescent. That's a charity that works with refugees in Turkey and northern Syria. He's based in Gaziantep and he described being woken up by the earthquake.
It was sleeping time early in the morning and it was tremendous. It took around 1.5 minutes. All the buildings were shaking and I was in the first floor. When I went out of the building, I see around people running out and screaming and crying.
And in terms of the damage around, when you came out onto the street, what was the scene?
Yeah, I was close to the castle of Gaziantep. There's a historic castle of more than 1,000 years. And I see the walls of the castle of the Gaziantep collapsing. Some buildings leaning and some roofs are going down. It was like bombing the area. I don't say atomic bomb, but it was terrible, you know. All the buildings were looking like they will collapse, but some of them collapsed and some of them just damaged. It was, you know, a turmoil.
And what is happening now? Is there help? What help are you able to provide?
Yeah, the priority is given for the rescue of those who are under the collapsed buildings, you know, under the ruins. We get hundreds of calls from mobile phones. People are screaming, giving their addresses.
You have had phone calls from people who are trapped in the rubble. What are they saying? What are they telling you?
They are asking to run to the field and to save them. For example, they took photos by their mobiles. And they give their address, they say at which location they are now trapped, and they are asking for urgent assistance to take them out. I am crying.
It is very, very distressing.
Because we cannot reach them, you know. It's hundreds of such calls.
Are you able to pass on that information to anybody else? What are you able to do with it?
Yeah, we are passing to the state authorities, but of course, to whom to run, you know. Even I have some relatives died because we couldn't help them.
Muzaffer, I'm so sorry. I mean, it is a really shocking and terrible situation.
Sorry for that.
Not at all. In terms then of how the rescue effort is proceeding, people have tools or they're just trying to get to survivors with their bare hands?
Usually, Turkey's experience on such earthquakes, the people, of course, they are trying to dig by their hands, but around most of the buildings, there are the state rescue teams or the individual NGO rescue teams, because it's very sensitive. You can destroy the rescue operation and the people can die underneath. So we need to be very careful, very sensitive when we are trying to save those people.
The next few hours, the next 48 hours, are obviously crucial in getting survivors out. Do you think there are enough people who are able to pursue that search and rescue effort to maximise the number of survivors?
No. The situation is tragic. There is no a very effective response for the moment. And of course, under the debris of such buildings, people cannot survive more than 48 hours. So we need to take those people who are under the debris before the end of, let's say, before tomorrow morning.
You are in Gaziantep, which is a big city. Your charity also works in Syria, in northern Syria. What do you think the situation is like in the countryside and in some of those parts of Syria?
Syria is in a worse position. There are no rescue teams. There is no efficient response. People digging by their hands, by their own tools, the buildings. But our teams are in North Syria, and they have seen, especially in Aleppo and Idlib, a huge catastrophe of the buildings. Hundreds of buildings are collapsed. For the moment, to send cross-border relief is depending to the state permission. We are few NGOs that have this state permission. So especially, they don't permit the foreign NGOs to cross the border and to enter to North Syria for such rescue operations. So for this reason, we are mobilizing a big team for North Syria because no one is in the field,
What kind of work are you carrying out now within Gaziantep and the surrounding area?
For the moment, we are helping for the rescue teams. But in addition, we have community centers in Gaziantep providing the basic food. We protect the babies, the families with the babies. We are keeping them in our buildings. But of course, such facilities are not enough. Now we are mobilizing tents to the region to provide food and also heating for those in danger.
Muzaffer Baca, really very emotional there, Vice President of the International Blue Crescent.